Hello, hello, and welcome to Listening Ears YouTube channel. Today is another Monday. Today is the 29th of June 2020. I welcome you and I thank you so much for your time for coming in today to listen and to join us on this talk show. For those of you who are listening for the first time or who are tuning in for the first time, I'll tell you a little bit about our charity Listening Ears before we go into the actual talk show for today. Now, Listening Ears is a charity established in 2006 out of a heartfelt concern about the level of isolation and loneliness. And we reach out to people who are marginalized, those who are hard to reach, people who are lonely, people who are isolated, they may be depressed, or those who are grieving, or just people who need somebody to talk to share their burden or whatever they are going through. We always have a drop-in center to start of the engagement we have with people. And within the drop-in center, people have opportunity to talk about what the issues they are dealing with is. And then we can give them the necessary support. And in a situation where it is outside of the remit of what we are doing, we can signpost them to other service providers because we work in partnership with many other organizations. Listeners has been actively working within the Royal Borough of Greenwich since its inception, and we run projects in the following three areas of our passion. And we've been working within the Royal Borough of Greenwich now for 13 years, still counting. October this year, God willing, we will clock 14 years. So we thank God for His grace and for the number of lives that our various activities and projects have been able to touch, to support, and to transform. Now we have three areas of passion where the first one is about reducing the isolation and loneliness among the elderly people. Then the second one is about supporting and empowering and nurturing young girls along their journey to womanhood. And then the third area of our passion is about enlightening and empowering members of our community to take small steps of change, and they'll be able to achieve improved health and total well-being. And over the years, within these three areas of our passion and our focus, we've been establish and set up 5 different projects. And I'll quickly just go through the projects. The first one is the Center for Girls, Rosebud Center, which is an exclusive point for girls aged between 7 and 19 years. And what we do is that we support them along those blossoming years to adolescence. So we provide a non-judgmental space for the girls to build their confidence, to participate in different skills and life development workshops to enhance their resilience and to enable them to face challenging transition process. I'm sure you know that it's quite challenging for a girl to go on that journey between girlhood and womanhood. And we just give them that space just to be girls, and about whatever things it is that they want to talk about. I mean, there is a lot of times girls have things to talk about. Sometimes even parents don't want to listen. And I know what we've been like, parents. So we give them that space where nobody is going to judge them, no matter what it is they are going through. They can at least find somebody who is happy to listen and to support them wherever they are at. And what we do is we accept them for who they are and where they are at, and then we hold their hands to take to where they want to be. Then we have a project we call FTIS and the Elderly. And the focus of that project is to reduce isolation and give them an opportunity to make new friends and to improve their social interaction. We have one located in Abbeywood, and we call it Feel Good Friday, because ironically, it started on a Friday, and that's about 10 going 11 years ago now. and it's been running on a Friday. It actually started on April 9, 2000. See, I don't even know. Time flies so quickly, It's already 11 years old because we started that one on April 9, 2000, and it's still going strong. That runs on Fridays, like the name indicates, Feel Good Friday. And then we launched a second center in Thamesmead on June 20, 2018. I can't believe that's already 2 years old on Wednesdays. And they all run, both of them run between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And all we do, we provide that space where the elderly people can socialize, can have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, have lunch, very nice, healthy lunch. Those of you who follow me on Facebook, because a lot of times, a lot of days when I'm around in the prayer, because sometimes I'm not there, maybe I have other things to, maybe I have to attend a meeting or a training or something. But every time that I have the opportunity to be at the drop-in session, I mean, I don't have to be there to run. The drop-in session runs. We have a very capable lady, Kim Firmin, who manages the project for the elderly people, and she's doing a brilliant job. So anytime I drop in there, I try to go on Facebook and let you guys know what is happening, what we are doing. For that, listening has eventually is that we will establish a drop-in center like that in different parts of the United Kingdom. As a matter of fact, if I can be very ambitious, in different parts of the world, because it's everywhere that you have elderly people providing that place. So come on board if you want to help us. If you know that in your area you can support us to establish another feel-good center, we're happy to collaborate or to partner with people who are ready to provide us the space that we need. And then we discuss how we are going to work that out. But trust me, we really need the support of everyone who is listening to me right now. Then our third project is called Community Angels, which is our outreach and befriending program predominantly for the elderly people. And also maybe because of disability, maybe because of bereavement, it could be because of depression, it could even be some mental health issues. But the fact is that they are housebound, they live on their own, and that particular project emanated from our feel good centers, because what happened is that after some time we started to have service users who became too frail to come out to the feel good center, or they have some health challenges. Maybe, sometimes when people are elderly, sometimes it might be this or face the challenges of coming out of their houses anymore. And we felt that because we are inclusivity and about making sure that every aspect of users are kind of supported and fulfilled, so we decided we saw need and we latched on to that need. We decided to take the service to them in their homes. And we also have another project that is called Steps to Living. Steps to Living is our health and life community project. One calling, can you please wait till a little later in the program? Thank you very much. Yes, we have the next project that we run out of the five I'm trying to explain to you is the one we call Steps to Living. And that is a health and lifestyle community project, which is about enlightening and local community members to take small steps of change in their cooking, in their eating, in their overall well-being. When we have funding, the way that runs is that we run workshops and trainings over a period of 10 weeks, and then which is once in a week for about 2 or 3 hours in a session. And then what we do is within the space of that 10 weeks, we support people to look at where they are at, help them to look at what their food diary is like, areas where they need to make some changes, and basically empower them to be able to get on that journey of achieving better relationship with food and taking charge of their health and their lifestyle. And then the final program, it's the one we call reflects the slogan of Listening Ears, which is, if you look on our website, our slogan is sharing the burden and achieving positive changes. And that is where we took the name for this project from, because this program provides opportunity for listeners to ask questions and to receive advice and support on various challenges or situations of their lives. And the ultimate goal is to empower ourselves to achieve and enjoy wholesome relations. A lot of reading, and I have a few people who I respect their wisdom, and I listen to them a lot, and I kind of get a lot of information. And then there are quite a number of things I would really love to share with you. And like I said to you last week, I'm not saying that, I say that with a lot of due respect and with humility. Not like I know so much, but I just think there are quite a number of few things that I come across as I go about life because of the that I do. And I think it will be beneficial if we share that knowledge, with each other. And then I'll learn from you, will learn from me. But then at the end of the day, the ultimate is whatever it is, we can share the knowledge, we can empower ourselves, you can empower me, we can empower you. And then the life just goes round. So our website, if you want to know more about the work that we do, the Listening Ears charity, our website is listeningears.org. And we have a second website for the Girls Project, which is the rosebudcenter.org. And if you have any questions you want to org, help at listeningears.org. Now, let's talk about Let's Share It, our talk show for today. I'll first tell you about the vision and the purpose of Let's Share It. I've told you a little bit about when I was talking about listening as an organization, as a charity. But the vision for Let's Share It as a project is to actualize the main vision of listening. And that main vision is sharing the burden, achieving positive changes. Now, it's a very popular statement that a shared. Yes. Sometimes people are going through issues and they have nobody to confide in, and that happens a lot. Sometimes it is the confidence to talk about what they are going through that they lack, and that is not because they lack self-confidence. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not undermining anybody, but you see, about the confidence of talking about that particular situation that they are going through. A lot of times people judge us when we talk about stuff, what we are going through, and that a lot of times, discourages people from opening up and talking space. And on this show, we'll provide that conducive space for the members of our community and those who listen to us to express their challenges and be listened to in a non-judgmental manner. And with your cooperation, we will explore different approaches to achieving a solution that will empower to progress onto the next level of your life, or basically to find a way forward with that particular situation in question. Can I just say something quickly? We cannot promise that all the problems that you present will be resolved, but at least we can share the weight of the problem and can signpost you in the right direction for further assistance if it is not an area that we are specialized in. We work in partnership with quite a number of reputable organizations and service providers, and they give support to our clients and our service users when necessary. Now, the next thing I want to tell you is about what to expect. Join us on this platform, and you have an opportunity to ask questions and to receive answers to issues that bother you, and you will receive encouragement to receive on how to progress the matter. Then further down the episodes, to ensure your satisfaction as listeners, we are hoping to invite guests onto this platform who are from different professional backgrounds, who can also provide very useful and helpful insight into the issues that we might be talking about on that particular. Then listeners will be encouraged to suggest subjects that you want us to discuss. And if there is any popular demand about your subjects, we will schedule it for a specific week. But you are very free all those things, because you see, we can only talk about what we hear. So if there are to talk about, if there are topics you want us to bring up on this channel, definitely just feel free to send an email to help@listeningears.org or 022 006 07555 And the focus of our discussion programs will center on emotional, physical, and mental well being. Lifestyle and different types of relationships will also be part of what we will talk about. Then we'll also share ideas about issues of parenting and other general issues of life. So, welcome to the episode for today, which is the episode 3. Those of you who haven't watched episodes 1 and 2, you can go on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/listening ears. You can click on episode 1, episode 2, because this is the third episode. And I welcome you again one more time. I don't want to take for granted your time that you have spent to join us today to share this project. Now, since the beginning of the pandemic, about 4 months running now, because all these challenges started late in March, and this is already June. So that means it's been on now for 4 months. There has been a lot of reports, there's been a lot of news and discussions in different directions of the media, in the electronic media, in the newspapers, on the social media, and the summary of the effects of all these discussions has been one thing, and that's fear. 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 It's so terrible. And this negative feeling, it has come to people in different ways and in different dimensions. I mean, going by the people that we talk with, those that we have discussed with, and it's just different dimensions that this fear is coming to people. There are 3 fear dimensions which we will talk about. Number 1 is the fear of contacting the COVID-19, which is the coronavirus, and then the fear of dying as a result. I mean, quite a lot of people are afraid. Everybody is afraid. Well, most people are afraid of death. I don't want to say everybody because I don't know, maybe there are some people who are not afraid of death, but many people are afraid of death. So that is one perspective or one dimension that this fear has been plaguing people. And then, of course, the third one is the fear of not knowing what to expect. Because you see, it got to a point we didn't even know what is happening. Nobody knows what to do. Everybody and trust social media. I mean, if there is any time that it is easy to pick up information that is not only incorrect, but very disturbing and unsettling, depressing. I'm short of adequate adjectives to use to qualify certain kinds of information. That sorts of information, some people, they just set out just to make other people afraid. They put up information there, it encourages people, all sorts of information started coming up on the social media. Well, all the different types of fear experienced have emanated from too much negative information. The only thing it has is nothing but hopelessness. In fact, the devastation from that spirit of fear, for me, personally, to talk about the devastation that that spirit of fear has brought into the lives of people is actually more serious than the effect of the coronavirus itself, because that is one of the core values of our charity listening ears. I believe everyone has heard enough that they need to hear about all the negative effects of the coronavirus, including the alarming figures of members of our community that have been affected in one way or the other. Everybody has had enough of that. So at Listening Ears, our hearts go out to people who have been affected by the pandemic in one way or the other. And our prayer is that God, in his infinite mercies, he will grant all those who have been bereaved, he will grant them the grace and the fortitude that they need to bear the loss of their loved ones. And for those who are still suffering, who are still battling with one experience or the other of the virus, our heart goes out to you as well, and we pray that God in his infinite mercy, with his healing hand, he will touch them and he will see all of them through. Now, in spite of all the devastating effects of the coronavirus, what I want us to share today are a few things, just a few things. I told you I brought us a message of hope because we've had all sorts of trauma, all sorts of frustrating and depressing information all over the media that I think everybody's had just about enough. So today, I'm bringing us a message of hope, as I have said earlier on. So there are three major things that I want us to look at today, which constitutes our message of hope. Number one is the positive things that have come out of the pandemic. That's number one. Because obviously, as terrible as the news have been, there have been quite a number of positive things that came out of the experience and the needs that are highlighted because of those lessons. That is number two. Then number three, I want us to share the way forward, information about the way forward, because like I said, we've had enough of all the negative things and horrible things, and the only way we can go is forward. So then with the first one I want to talk about as the positive things that have come about, because those are the first things I want to go through first. The first one is that the coronavirus has allowed people to spend more time with their loved ones, which has, in some way, it has improved relationship and bonding for a lot of families because the lockdown, it has provided a once in a lifetime invaluable opportunity to discover themselves in their families, to mend, to develop their relationships, particularly with their family, with their loved ones, with their friends, And then for those of us who are Christians, it has given us the opportunity to develop and improve our relationship with God because a lot of us spent more time studying the Bible. Some of us spent more time praying. Some of us spent a lot of time reflecting on our spiritual life, on our goals, on our aspirations. So that is one key positive thing, opportunity to redefine and to reorder our priorities. Because you see, because people now saw that they had so much time in their hands, they now had to reorder their priorities. Because before, a lot of times, we just do things as they come to us. But we are better positioned to put things in perspective and then to get our priorities right. It allowed us to focus on the most important things of our lives. You see, because previously we have the constant pressure of multitasking and then just taking instant decisions on things as they come to us. But now there is more uninterrupted personal time for us to reflect and to make very objective and well-informed decisions. And this includes staying at home unless you absolutely need to go out. And when you are going out, you are properly kitted. Put on your face mask, in your handbag, you have your sanitizer, you have everything. But a lot of times you discover that so many people stayed at home. If they really don't have a desperate to go out, they didn't bother. Because number one, it is a government directive. Number two, it didn't make any sense because it's not safe. I mean, what are you around the streets for if you don't really have a very clear need to go out? So it allowed people to be really, was a good one of the things that crossed my mind when I was preparing for our talk show today. Because in my culture, they said that if a child, and I want to believe that that cuts across so many other cultures. It's a popular say that if a child is grateful about what you have done for that child yesterday, then today the child will receive more. And if we look at it from the spiritual perspective, even the Bible expects us to make our request known to God with thanksgiving for what he has done for us before. So it is very crucial. Those of us who haven't actually bothered to reflect and see the benefits that came out of the coronavirus pandemic, I think it is high time we start to think about what we need to be grateful for, or what are what we thank God for, and not just looking at the negative things that happen. There are why a lot of negative things which are very bad. Don't get me wrong, but then if we still look further down and further deeper, we are going to see a lot of beneficial things that happened because the corona came. And then is the imposition of drastic lifestyle changes. I mean, so many people had to make a lot of lifestyle changes because they actually just have no choice. And then because people had a lot of time in their hands, they had to create this time to improve their health, to improve their lifestyle. Because before, a lot of people, they don't even have time to look after themselves because it's always work and work and work. But this lockdown and compulsion people to stay at home, it gave people opportunity to look at that direction. And then another benefit is that it gave us an escape from commuting. I mean, we had to stay at home and we didn't have to do all the commuting, which sometimes can be really stressful. And then it enabled us to live life at a slower pace. Sometimes some of us are just like in a hurry, just moving at microwave speed many times. But then the COVID-19 compelled us actually to slow down, and go live life at a slightly slower pace and not just be hurrying and hurrying and hurrying. Because sometimes people hurry as if the world is coming to an end. But with coronavirus, that was, where do they even want to hurry to? So they had no choice. It compelled everybody to slow down and take it easy and relax a little bit. And then it enabled us to eat less fast food and more time to cook. I mean, people who are used to eating fast food, they were compelled to enjoy or endure that discipline because there were no shops to get the fast foods anyway. So those who have been, who maybe are due to laziness or just can't be bothered, or they haven't been cooking regularly, they had no choice. And then, of course, people who were compelled to learn to cook, because there were some people before, they can't be bothered. They think, yes, I really don't have the time to learn to do this, to learn to do that. But when it came to where it was, they had no choice. They had to learn to cook. And then people who were followed in their workplaces, who now had to completely stay at home and not work, they had time to catch up on all the home jobs, all the DIY that is supposed to, that they have wanted to, there is all sorts of, even in my house, I have lots of DIY I've always been planning to. I was able to do a few things during the lockdown. I know for some people, they really were, I mean, I know people who actually kind of transformed the looks of their house during the lockdown because they did everything they've been planning to do for a long time, and they've been postponing and postponing it, but it gave them that opportunity. And then there was this attitude of valuing money more, and people were making changes to their budgets. Because you see, for a lot of people who couldn't work, that meant money wasn't coming in. And if money is not coming in, naturally you are very careful of how you are going to spend the one that you have. So it made people to have more value for money, to respect money a little bit more, and then make very drastic changes to their budgets. It compelled people didn't need to be advised that, what, you need to review your budget. Everybody had to check their budgets and see what are the frivolous expenses I was always having, and watch it before they keep on spending. And then for some, they were more in touch with their neighbors. It was during the lockdown. Sometimes people are able to know who their neighbors are, because maybe they will come out of the garden or the balcony or something, and then you have the opportunity to say, oh, hello. Sometimes that is the time that people were able to know the names of their neighbors. And then, of course, it gave us more contact with friends and family through the social media, and through phoning, and different kinds of ways we are contacting each other. A lot of friends that we really didn't have time to contact before, the lockdown enabled us to create that time. Another benefit we got was there were less traffic, there were less cars on the roads, and therefore we had better quality of air to breathe in, which we need to be grateful for. Because if the cars are all on the roads, all the emission of all the exhaust and all that, but we thank God that reduced to some point. And then crime fell during the peak periods of the coronavirus. There were less burglaries, and then because more people were at home, then again, people started to value life more, because when everybody started to see how people were dying, it made a lot of people to sit down and think and value their life more, because it just suddenly dawned on a lot of people that, you know what, the string between life and death is a very thin one. And 1 minute, because it was so shocking. A lot of people, you speak to them and then all of a sudden you just call them, or you discover somebody gives you information that they are dead. The way and manner at which a lot of people lost their lives, that compelled those of us who are still here to start to value lives more. And then while we are valuing lives, it also gave us opportunity to value the NHS service. We valued it more. And one of the things that I actually appreciate about that is that it enhanced more community spirit. I mean, that's demonstrated by, all the Thursdays that we were clapping, everybody came out of their balconies, out of their doors, even those who didn't have balconies. I saw a lot of people, they'll be walking on the road, and at that particular agreed time, everybody were clapping for the NHS, which is community spirit, which is very beneficial. And because we need to have more of that. But if it wasn't for the coronavirus, nobody would have valued what the NHS staff are doing. I mean, look at all the NHS members of staff who lost their lives while they were trying to look after us and to look after all our loved ones. A lot of them lost their lives in the process, and that made us to appreciate what they are doing and to value them more. So that was a good thing. It gave us a sense of value for what we have, because a lot of times we don't appreciate things until we lose them, and that is not a place to be. We shouldn't wait until we lose things before we start to appreciate them. Then one other thing that's part of the benefit is that the loneliness of people who are living alone, it was recognized more. That has been the heart cry of listening ears, because the loneliness that is out there, it's so thick you can touch it. But when I tell you, sometimes words fail me to express how much people are lonely. But then during this pandemic, that was really pronounced. Everybody can see how much people are lonely. And the elderly people, they were recognized more, because there was support from them, things that the government put in place to help them at the supermarkets, giving them the time that they can shop, the elderly hour. They gave in different shops, in Tesco's, in Sainsbury's, almost all the shops, uh, Morrison's, Asda. They had the time they gave for the elderly people, that they could come in and they can shop, and there will be no disturbance at that time of their shopping, which was a good thing. And then one funny thing, although it's very crucial, but then it is very funny, is that the cleaning of hands, it has come back into fashion. Because before it's like old school now, but then it has come back into fashion, and that helps us to reduce other germs and you know other diseases that we can contact by just having poor hygiene. So that's one thing. It has compelled people to learn the importance of personal hygiene, which is also a good thing. And then finally, there are lots of free apps on the internet for people to exercise, to do workout, to watch concerts, to watch films, and have all sorts of relaxation. And these are things that either people didn't know were there before, or even when they know, they had no time to check them. So the lockdown gave us that opportunity to look at all those things. So those are things that I think we can be grateful for. And with all the things that I enumerated tonight, I think we need to be grateful that at least throughout the pandemic, we are still here. God granted us the grace to be here, to survive it. And then so we need to be grateful for for the things that we benefited during the lockdown. Now, the next thing I want us to share tonight is about the lessons that we learned and the needs that those lessons have highlighted. And the first one is about the loneliness and the isolation and lack of human contact. That's one of the negative things, and it's a need that has been highlighted, which I will talk about later on during this program. And then the psychological impact and the overall depression and anxiety. That's another lesson. Brevity of life. Remember, I talked not even being able to handle all the associated problems that came with it. Those who lost their loved ones, some of them were not even able to pay them last respect because of all the restrictions surrounding the ongoing situations during the pandemic, and then the impact on people's finances because of the loss of income, those who couldn't continue to work. There is a lot of negative impact on administration as a result of what happened. Then people with underlying health conditions, it has highlighted the fact that they are more at risk, which we will talk about, because if, with or without coronavirus, when people have underlying health conditions, it is not a thing to joke about or to be careless about. And then another thing that it has highlighted is the lack of education progression and working parents who are forced to try and homeschool their children and work at the same time. That was quite challenging. So that is also another need. Violence increased. It increased because one of the things that we know is that most of the time, domestic violence is actually sometimes mostly caused by maybe lack of finance. And then, with all the surrounding challenges of COVID-19, that is not far fetched. And then again, if people are not getting along well, before the pandemic, they go their different ways to go to work. And sometimes they just come home in the evening, just have less than enough time to see each other before going to sleep. So there isn't even opportunity to disagree or to fight. But with the situation that they were in each other's face from morning till evening, 24/7, that of a challenge there. And then, of course, fear of a resurgence occurring that people are thinking about, talking about. Like I told you, one has to be honest with you. For me, my counsel is that one needs to actually filter what we listen to online, because otherwise, if we don't do that, there will be increased fear, and it doesn't really make any sense. We don't need that. What we need is hope. What we need is how we want to move on, which takes me to the third point I want us to share today, which is about the way forward. Now, the very first thing I want us to talk about today as the way forward is that we need to rebuild our health and develop our immunity. I'm sure part of the informations everybody must have read online, one of the key ones that is very correct and very true is the need for everybody to improve their immune system, because it is very clear, information that, and very clear, it is actually a fact for the, so I don't need to overemphasize that. That now is a open secret. Everybody knows now that you need to build your immune system, you need to rebuild your health, and you need to eat healthy meals and at the right time, and instead of just eating on the go. Those of us who have started taking exercises, that's brilliant, because a lot of us have started exercise, and people have realized that staying at home, you're not going out, and you're not doing any exercise, you just be pounding on the weight and challenging. And then, matter of fact, I'll use this opportunity to inform us to lose weight. It sounds weird, but that is the reality. If even on our mental capability to manage our activities for the day, I don't need to overemphasize that. So first thing we need to do as the way forward is to build our immune system, build it up as much as we can, eat more healthily, do a lot of exercise, and drink a lot of water. And then for products that we can, there are quite a number of things that we can use, products that we can use to build our immune system. In fact, I have a lot of recommendations I can give you. Those of you who have my email address, you can email me later so I can give you some information. Otherwise, if you go on my personal website, which is smartsteps.org.uk, or you can direct message me on Facebook. I'll give you information to this. A lot of natural things, natural products that you can use to build your immune system so that you make sure you are well fortified, not just because of coronavirus, because the thing is, even if there is no coronavirus, we need to make sure that our immune system is working at excellent pace, because the thing is, that is the center of our existence. That's the powerhouse. If there is anything wrong with it, it will affect every area of our life. So, with or without coronavirus, we need to boost our immune system. And like I said, if you want information about very natural products that have no side effects that you can use to boost your immune system, you can contact me after this show. If you don't have my uh, email address, you can easily go on my Facebook, and then you can message me there. But my email address is my name, olutoyin at gmail.com. But then you can also message me on Facebook. Then the second thing about our way forward is to think outside the box by spending more time alone. And when I say more time alone, I'm talking about solitude, but solitude doesn't have to mean loneliness, because there's a big difference between solitude and loneliness. Loneliness is a negative state which is marked by a sense of isolation. One feels that something is missing, that's loneliness. But solitude is the state, it's positive, is a positive one, is a state of being alone without being lonely. And it is a positive and constructive state of engagement with yourself. And the benefit of this is that you have private time and space, which can stimulate deep thinking for you, and it enables you to develop innovative ideas. It's very important for us to have times of solitude to, look inward and be able to develop ideas, fresh ideas. And then the next thing I want us to talk about is about the community services and personal or corporate social responsibility. That is one area that we need to talk about, because there are endless avenues to reach out, to give back, to care, to share, and to encourage and to lend a helping hand. As individuals or as churches, we can intercede for others in our immediate community, maybe our family members, maybe neighbors, maybe colleagues. And then we can give out not only material or financial, but we can give out encouraging word. We can give out practical assistance to help someone in need, which we will always find in any environment where we find ourselves. It doesn't have to be a particular place. And I've said this many times, and I will keep saying it until that statement goes viral, that an encouraging statement said at the right time might just prevent the next person who is thinking of suicide from taking their own life. People who are close to me, they will hear that from me a lot. Just an encouraging statement. I mean, the people that we find who commit suicide, if the night before, if somebody just patted them on the back and told them, you know what, give tomorrow another chance. Why don't you let's try this or try this or try that? They probably will have a change of mind. But you see, if nobody was there and they just look at everything around them, everything looks so gloomy, there is no hope, there is no encouraging, nothing. They just think, sometimes they just think, he that is down needs fear no fall. and that's it. And in just a twinkle of an eye, that's it. So I want to assure us today that there is so much power in very little help we give to people. We may not be aware of its significance, but the irony of it is that it makes a huge difference to the rest of an elderly woman I met. That was a couple of years back now. I went, those of you who are familiar with Southeast London, I went to Abbeywood. I mean, I went to the post office and I wanted to just post a letter. But I discovered that when I was going in, I saw this elderly woman. She must have been maybe around 80, 85. She was standing on the side of the road and she had a shopping trolley with her. So I went to the post office and I must have spent at least about 15 to 20 minutes there because there was a long queue. And by the time I came back outside, I saw that that woman was still standing there. My spirit just, something in my spirit, I just got to her and I said hello to her. Initially, she was a little afraid because she was wondering, why did I come to her? She was not sure whether she was going to receive help or she was in danger, which is normal, for her. So I kind of reassured her that I just want to find out how I can be of help to her. And you know what she told me? She said she wanted to cross the road and the cars wouldn't stop for her. Honestly, I felt like crying. So what I did, I held her hand and with the other hand, I took her shopping trolley and I walked with her across the road to the other side. And when I got to the other side, my spirit just wanted to give her a hug. And I gave her that hug. Would you believe that when I gave her that hug, she wouldn't let go? She held me for minutes. And by the time she eventually let go, she was crying. And I had to ask her, are you okay? She said she has never been hugged for years. For years. Only one hug. I gave her that hug. It now told me after then she started talking with me. And then she told me that the place that she lives, she usually is on the bus. She will stay on the bus until the bus gets to its terminus, and then the bus will turn around, bus, until the bus turns around. And then when the bus is now coming back on its return route, that is when she will. She said because if she gets down, she is afraid to cross the road because she's not sure she's not going to be knocked down by an oncoming vehicle. So that day, all I and look at the difference it made to her. It made a difference of a lifetime. She felt loved for a change. So that shows you how much difference it can make when we just take a little step to show some affection to people, some care. So I'm imploring us tonight, I'm appealing to us actually that we should touch our communities as much as we can, because touching our communities, it will make a huge difference. I want to appeal to each and every one of us that are listening to me today to become what I would call a listening ear wherever you find yourselves. And it's so important to note that many of us hear when people talk to us, but to be honest with you, a lot of time we don't listen to them. And this is because listening is one step further than hearing. When you hear a call for help from somebody, or somebody who is asking you for help in a situation, when you now take a step further to process what you have heard in your head, or to imagine or take a step to do something about it, to achieve a better result, or to achieve a solution to what that person is dealing with, that is when you have listened. And that's a topic for another day, because I remember a time that I was invited on a Ben television, and the discussion we were having that day was about listening skills. And then one of the things that came up when we were talking was that I said sometimes we need to listen with more than our ears. And the presenter, there was loads of contributions that came in that they need to bring me back to come and talk about how can people listen with more than their ears. So we had to have another episode, by default, so that we can talk about it. And we took almost an hour to talk about how we can listen with more than our ears, because the way God has created us, we can listen with our whole body. But like I said, that is a topic for another day, because today I don't want us to go beyond the time I've promised you that we will spend. So that's a topic for another day, listening more than our ears. And I'm sure everybody will benefit from that. Then there is always an opportunity. The final thing I want to talk about the way forward, is that there is always an opportunity in any crisis if we look inward enough. So we need to explore additional source of income. It's a well-known statement that it is very crucial to have more than one source of income. In those days, there was a popular statement where people say, "Jack of all trade, master of none." Well, for me, under the current dispensation of life that we have find ourselves, the statement needs to be reconstructed as far as I'm concerned. And for me, how it needs to be reconstructed is that we need to be jack of more than one trade and master of them all. And the reason why I said that is that we need to ensure that we have more than one stream of income. I mean, I don't need to overemphasize that. Look at what happened with the current pandemic. People had no other source of income except the salaries that they are earning, and suddenly they have to stop work. For some people, they are even lucky. They are going back to work in July. But for some people, their establishments have actually folded up. So how are they going to survive? So if you have never thought about having multiple streams of income, this is the time to start to think about it. And with that one, there are sessions that I conduct with people to help you to know how can you look at different streams of income, what can you do to make yourself more economically viable. If you want to participate in that, you can send an email to help@listenears.org, or you send me a message on my Facebook page. Now, if we have, I want to also tell us that we need to thank God for technology, which has, brought unlimited knowledge to us and at our doorsteps right now because of COVID-19. Because a lot of people who aren't bothering to look on Google before, now they go on Google for everything. And there is so much knowledge that is on Google. I mean, there is nothing we want to achieve in terms of knowledge and expertise that is not available online. I mean, with Google now, with Siri, with all of them, there is nothing you cannot just speak into your phone or type online onto Google, and then it gives you an answer. So one of the key determinants of success in whatever trade we engage in is how much knowledge we have, and not just about the origin of the trade or the opportunity, but spending time to understand and to be on top of the game of the success strategies of that business outlay. It is so crucial. So, like I said, if you need any support around that, we can always discuss, and I'll give you ideas and we can brainstorm, and then we can support you to identify how you want to move on to the next level of your life. Finally, learning. We need to keep learning. That means you need to enlarge the sphere of your knowledge. You need to read. You need to take online courses because they are less expensive and they are less disruptive than physical attendance. And then you need to soak up on unlimited positive information that is available on the internet. And that's just right in the comfort of your house. And you should always also share information. We shouldn't be selfish with any information that we get. We should educate others. We should encourage them to learn as much as we are learning. So that's what I want us to share today because our time is up. I promised you I won't take your time more than an hour, and we just have a few seconds now to go. I want to say thank you again for tuning in today to the Listening Ears YouTube channel. And thank you for the opportunity you have given me to share with you what we have identified in the community and how we can support one another. So if you have any questions, don't forget you can always send an email to help@listeningears.org, help@listeningears.org. And if you want to know more about services, you can always go on our website. And before I go today, as a charity, we are always looking forward to people supporting us. I want to use this opportunity to ask you that you can help us. If you go on our website, you can sign up to become a partner of Listening Ears. And what it takes to become a partner is to, subscribe to giving us a monthly donation, no matter how little it is, and no matter how large. If you decide to give us 1 million per month, we'll be glad and receive it. But then, seriously speaking, you can become our partner by signing up to give us donations monthly so that it can enhance our reach. We can do more of what we are doing currently. Then you can also support us by giving us your time in volunteering. You could be a befriender to one of our elderly people that are completely isolated in their homes. You can support us again, volunteering your skills, your knowledge, your expertise in different areas. So if there is any information you need to know more, please, please, please go on our website www.listeningears.org, and you can always get in touch with us, or you send an email to help@listeningears.org. And I want to say very thank to you, a big thank you. I want to appreciate you for your time, for tuning in today. And next week, Monday at 6 o'clock, take good care of yourself and each other. God bless you. Have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you. Bye.